Mockup Mayhem. What is that? Some time ago, I asked you guys what are some anime soundtracks you'd love to see get pressed on vinyl. I take those anime soundtracks, if they haven't been pressed on vinyl yet, I come up with the design, put together something that I think would be a cool looking release for that soundtrack. Some of the mockups I put together for my first Mockup Mayhem, just to recap a little bit, I did Dororo, which I would still love to see pressed on vinyl. Wolf's Rain, which Milan Records, you've got a pretty good record of putting out Yoko Kanno stuff on vinyl. I hope to see more of it. We should be getting more news on more Cowboy Bebop stuff soon. And Inuyasha, and just to be clear, these are not real, these are just mock-ups I made up, put together. But Inuyasha, shortly after I put together my first Mockup Mayhem, Tiger Labs put out that they are working on in Inuyasha vinyl. So definitely something to look forward to on future wave stuff with Tiger Lab vinyl. So that's the gist of what Mockup Mayhem is, and we'll talk about music along the way. So before getting into your requests, I put together what I would love to see. Goblin Slayer. I'm a big fan of Goblin Slayer, but warning, it is a mature anime. Not a H series, but it's mature. I did make a few variants, but talking about the jacket first, I went with the cover that's on the steelbook version of the Blu-ray. I thought that just worked so well. But looking at the first variant here, I was inspired by not just Goblin Slayer's armor that he has, but the fur that's around his neck as well. That's kind of where the white there is coming in. The second variant is what I'm calling the Goblin Blood Splatter variants, and for good reason. Goblin Slayer, he be killing them goblins, man. It just works, I think. The third variant here is similar to the first one, inspired by Goblin Slayer's color scheme and all that with his armor and everything, but with a goblin merge in the center of it. This is the one where, if this existed, because I want to stress again that these do not exist, but if these were a thing, this is like the one I'm going for. I absolutely love this. It's like, symbolically, Goblin Slayer's center focus is on goblins, so the symbolism plus just the way it looks, it's so cool. But that's the third variant there. The fourth variant, the eye that we've seen like from the promo before season 1 came out and everything, just the badassness of his glowing eye and everything, just the coolness of that, and that's what this one is inspired by here. But a little bit about the composer, Kenichiro Suehiro. Just from the wiki, when he was a teenager, he started a band and played as a guitarist, keyboardist, and drummer. He cited Ennio and Joe Hisaishi as inspiration for him to pursue a composer career. Really cool to see the two different sides of inspiration that Suehiro has from these two very different composers. You have the very suspenseful, dramatic nature of Ennio's compositions and the heart-lifting, beautiful nature of Joe Hisaishi's. I just like knowing who other artists get their inspiration from, regardless if you can hear it in their works or not. But speaking of their works, Suehiro also composed music for Girls Last Tour, Fire Force, and ReZero. Anime Limited, they're actually going to be pressing ReZero's soundtrack on vinyl, so we are going to get some Suehiro stuff on the format. Anyway, check out the Goblin Slayer soundtrack. I absolutely love it. Let's go on to one of the ones you would like to see. This one from Twitter is coming from Adam, who says, I'm gonna go with Escaflone. A separate release for the movie would be nice. Escaflone is a series that I'm not too familiar with. I've seen a few episodes forever ago, and I couldn't recall what happened aside from it's sort of an isekai. An isekai where there's an awesome mech called Escaflone. Even more awesome, the soundtrack is composed by Yoko Kanno, Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Rain, the list goes on, but every soundtrack she makes, regardless of how different they sound, any genre that she tackles, she really perfects that genre in an incredible way. Escaflone right here is very cinematic. You could almost hear this in like a Steven Spielberg film or something like that. Another composer who worked on the soundtrack is Hajime Mizoguchi. Yoko Kanno and Mizoguchi not only worked together on this soundtrack, but also the anime adaptation of Please Save My Earth. And if we're talking about vinyl, there was music by Yuji Nomi that was made for the manga. It's pressed on a picture disc that actually sounds really good, and there are 2 tracks on here by Mizoguchi that are my favorites. One of them being an arrangement of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. But circling back to Escaflone, going into the mock-up for the anime soundtrack, the records themselves obviously is inspired by the mech itself, Escaflone. Some of my favorite tracks in it, I think it's a self-titled track. If you've seen the Chainsaw Man music for the manga trailer, where it's just like chanting chainsaw over and over and over again, which is awesome. Escaflone has a very similar track where you have this choir just like constantly saying Escaflone, and it's like so epic. But yeah, definitely check that track out from Escaflone because you get some similar vibes. There's also another track that I can easily hear inside of Hyrule Castle. Like if you played Ocarina of Time, they're just humming the Song of Time in there, and if you just like replace that music with just the Escaflone one, it would take me a minute to realize, oh shoot, they're singing Escaflone. This is an Escaflone one. What the hell? Anyway, it gives me like similar like Hyrule Castle vibes. Thank you, Adam, for requesting those, and on to the next one. William Aspen thinks that it's a crime that there isn't a Steins Gate OST on vinyl. If you don't know Steins Gate, it's an anime about time travel. I absolutely love it. I have both the complete series and the movie itself, which reverses the roles of Okabe and Kurusu. It's an awesome series. I love it. If you're watching it, it's a slow burn. Just wait for episode 12. Episode 12 is where things go down. Takeshi Abo is the composer who made the music for Steins Gate here. For the soundtrack, I went with the symphonic version. Symphonic Reunion is what it's called, and yeah, this is on soundtrack CD. In the series, when testing out a time travel machine, what better guinea pig to use than some bananas? When the experiment goes wrong, the bananas turn into this green jello-like substance, and this is the banana green jello variant. I absolutely love it. I put together way more variants just to show you, the concept I had with this. There's this thing in the series of jumping through different world lines, I think it was. I'm forgetting the term. I'll have it here if anything. The concept I had for this is that you'll get either one of two jackets. There's the white version of the jacket, and then there's the alternate black version of the jacket. Let's say you get the black jacket. In a different world line, you got the white one. I just think it's a cool concept, and yeah. Going on to the other variants that I put together, and this is the L-Sai Kongru variant, Hoing Kiyoma. The inspiration was from two things, not only his lab coat design, he's always rocking the lab coat, but also three different things for each part of his catchphrase, L-Sai Kongru. We have the white, the gray, and the black splatter, L-Sai Kongru. Next, we have the Mayuri variant, which is these, two color tones of blue, so a blue on blue marble. For Kurusu, or the Christina variant, I couldn't find too many things to go with, but I think this split color, as simple as it is, I think really captures her color scheme as well. The brownish tan color of the jacket that she wears, and then obviously the iconic red hair that she has as well. The final variant, and this is my personal favorite one, I absolutely love that this is a divergence meter variant. If you know the divergence meter, that clock with the tubes and stuff on it, and it's just like the coolest thing. I think it looks incredible. I absolutely need that in my life right now. Please exist. Something that does exist on vinyl by Takeshi Abo. It took me some time to find this. It wasn't in my video game section, but Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Overdrive. This is the video game soundtrack. Not only does it share the same composer as Steins Gate, it actually has an FM version, which is a frequency modulator. A lot of these tracks were created using one, and this track right here, Beyond the Horizon, it is basically Gate of Steiner, just an FM version of it, which is really cool. But the crossover doesn't end there, because in the game, I picked up the game on the Switch around the time it came out for the platform, and the only reason why, aside from like, I like beat 'em up games and stuff like that, you can actually play as Kurusu Makise in the game. I enjoy playing Kurusu, and the music is a blast to listen to. There you go, William. I know they don't actually exist, but hopefully we can get a lighter sentence for at least these mock-ups. Going on to the next one. Nobly from Twitter, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, says, Tokyo Ghoul and Terror in Resonance are the two I want the absolute most. Honestly, shocks me that Tokyo Ghoul hasn't gotten one yet. Also, I really hope they do another pressing of Your Name. That needs a wide release. It would be so easy to sell, of course. I don't know in the background how it is for licensing and all that stuff, but Tokyo Ghoul is the one that I wanted to focus on here. Why it hasn't been pressed on vinyl yet, the season 1 soundtrack is over 2.5 hours long. You're talking about 4 discs here. I don't know what the wiggle room is for that, or if it is a little more than 4. So let's just call it 5 records to be safe. You're talking about an entire box set here. So that's exactly what I put together. together, let's take a look at the Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 soundtrack box set. The outer chipboard box that's going to carry all 5 of these discs. And I'm thinking one that's very similar in quality to the Jujutsu Kaisen one. If you haven't seen from Anime Limited, I did a video on the Jujutsu Kaisen box set, but yeah, that kind of quality is kind of how I'm imagining this and everything. Now going on to disc 1, there we have the sleeve, both sides of Kaneki. We have Coffee Shop Kaneki and Ghoul Kaneki here. The record, I went with this blood red with, you know, black in it and everything. I feel that this is just the right look for Tokyo Ghoul vinyl record. For sleeve 2, you know, official art from Tokyo Ghoul here with a number of the other characters. Disc 3, Toka, of course. I couldn't find a higher res image for this one. I wish I did, but yeah, I think that would make a great image for one of these. Disc 4, we've got that iconic 1000-7 torture scene. Just really cool. Disc 5 here is where I got a little creative, and that is the coffee brown one. This is like a translucent coffee brown in my mind. If you know Tokyo Ghoul, ghouls have a taste for human flesh. Kaneki really struggles with fighting off his ghoul side and everything. Just the thought of eating another human being is grotesque in his mind, as it should be. And coffee is the one other thing aside from human flesh that they actually have a taste for, or something that helps ease the craving for human flesh, because everything else is just disgusting to them. So I felt that representing the coffee in a way here is just needed, you know, that. And I also just love coffee. That's it all together there. So I hope you enjoyed that one nobly, and thank you for your request. So the next one from Tyler Price, I'd love for these to be pressed on vinyl someday. Fruits Basket 2019, Violet Evergarden, which we've got some stuff on a 10-inch record. I've spoken about it before in my Violet Evergarden video. Check that out if you want to see a performance as well. I'll attach it here and in the description below. The Ancient Magus Bride, Land of the Illustrious, Terran Resonance, Paranoia Agent. That is Satoshi Kon's anime series. That would be interesting. I would love to see that on vinyl. But The Rising of the Shield Hero, this is awesome because this came out in August. We actually got the soundtrack on vinyl. This is really cool. I flipped it so that I have Raphtalia on the cover, but you can have Naofumi on the cover as well. Wherever it is available, if it is available, I'll include it in the description below. Really cool to see that one you had listed here is now actually on vinyl. And that's the entire hope when it's becomes a reality. It's just an awesome thing. We can check one off of the list here. As for the mock-up I made though, 2019 Fruits Basket. The music of 2019 Fruits Basket is composed by Masaru Yokoyama, who's also composed music for Your Lie in April, Horimiya. They have a record player in the opening for Horimiya, but like there isn't a record player in the anime. So what's up with that? Anyway, I hope to you Fruba fans out there I do this justice, because here is the 3-disc soundtrack for 2019 Fruits Basket. We have 3 different colors, Toru Blue, we have that Yuki Gray Marble, and that Kyo Orange. And yeah, I absolutely love this. It has to be a trifold, obviously. There you go. That would be the inside of the trifold there. Yuki, Kyo, and you know, my favorite, Chigure, You're the dog, what up? The image of all of them on the table in the Soma house and everything. I just hope to you Fruba fans out there that I did this justice and whatnot. I'm hoping, you know, resonates with y'all out there as well. Thank you, Tyler, for your requests there. Going on to the next one. So the next and final one here is coming to us from Poochie McDog. All right, so let's see. As for anime OSTs, I'd love to see off the top of the dome our Initial D, which thankfully we are getting pressed this year. Hopefully that's still coming to us in sometime December or just sometime this year from Tiger Lab Vinyl. They are pressing that on vinyl. Eureka 7, which I believe has a record already. I'll confirm here whether it's legit or not. But we've got Yu Yu Hakusho, Gin no Saji, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, GX, and 5Ds, Yokohama Kaidaishi Kiko. Quite a list there. Quite a list. Of the few there, I did pick 2 out for you, Poochie McDog. I did pick 2, and the first one here, Yu Yu Hakusho. If we're talking the soundtrack to Yu Yu Hakusho, what's awesome, it's composed by Yusuke himself. And no, not Yusuke Urameshi, you know, the main character for the series. The composer shares the same name as the series protagonist, which is just awesome. I think it's just the coolest thing. I love the music of Yu Yu Hakusho. A lot of synth, a lot of awesome stuff. Each character has their own themes and stuff like that, but let's get into the vinyl. We talk about the characters. Let's see, Yusuke Urameshi. He's got his own variant to just really resemble the spirit gun. For Hiei's variant, we have, a purple with this black splatter inspired by, his dragon of the darkness flame. That's the Hiei variant there. For Kurama, I was inspired by, the rose and red hair and everything. And this one just really feels Kurama to me. And this last variant here is the Kuwabara split. I, of course, had to, put that orange for his iconic hairdo and, the blue that he, wears for his uniform as well. If there's any track that you absolutely have to listen to from Yu Yu Hakusho, it is the Power Up theme music. It's like a battle towards the end of the series and stuff like that and everything, but just this music is so hype. If it's just like you need to be pumped up for something, it is awesome. The energy is there. And just when that track peaks, the violin kicks in and it is just so freaking good. But yeah, definitely check out that track. Just the Power Up theme music. Yeah, the Yu Yu Hakusho soundtrack, dope. For my Brazilian brothers and sisters out there, when Yu Yu Hakusho got localized there, a music group did covers of the Japanese openings and endings, but in Portuguese. Their versions of the songs went through a campaign to get pressed on vinyl, and it was wildly successful. I can't find anything on any of the records actually pressed or anything just yet. I'll link articles and the campaign in the description below. It's over now and everything, but that does exist. It is a thing. That's something I came across just looking for stuff. But that is Yu Yu Hakusho. Let's go on to the second one I've put together here for you, and that is YuGiOh Duel Masters. And it's unfortunate that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kazuki Takahashi, has passed away earlier this year. I don't know if you caught wind of that or knew of it and everything. Yu-Gi-Oh means a lot to me. It means a lot to my childhood and everything. Growing up playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my brother and everything, always watching anime, and to know that there are still kids now watching the newer iterations of Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, and they're having duels and everything. Quite a legacy for Takahashi there. So hopefully I did these mock-ups justice for Yu-Gi-Oh. And the composer who made music for Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Masters, Shinkichi Mitsumune, if he doesn't sound familiar, also composed music in Fulikuli. The Pillows composed a lot of the music for Fulikuli, but other tracks that aren't your Pillows type music and everything, those were composed by Mitsumune. Now, there are a lot of great tracks in the Japanese soundtrack, but I grew up with the 4Kids English dubbed version. Say what you will about it, I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. I bring up the 4Kids version because it has its very own soundtrack. It was composed by Joel Duick and some other composers. The Japanese soundtrack, again, it's great, but the English dubbed soundtrack, the theme songs for the God cards alone are God tier. Anyway, I only mention that for the fact that I imagine this, if it's ever pressed on vinyl, to be the English dubbed soundtrack. So the music you hear as I'm talking about this mock-up, that's all from the English dub. But enough about that, on to the first mock-up. First one I have here is the Blue Eyes White Dragon variant, because of course immediately screams Blue Eyes White Dragon to me. But yeah, the next one, I gotta do Red Eyes Black Dragon here. The color scheme I went off of was for this version of it. There's more of the red involved in this one, in the art for it, and I thought that was really important for a Red Eyes Black Dragon vinyl record. So there's that one. Another iconic card from the series is the Dark Magician. So I went with this Dark Magician-esque purple with a black splatter. There's some hint of another color in there that's just this dark kind of blue, but not done yet, because this would not be a Yu-Gi-Oh themed record if not one was themed over the hair of Yami Yugi himself. So this one, we got a tricolor and a splatter. We have the red, yellow, and blue. The blue obviously being the suit that he's wearing, the black splatter to complete the hair that he's got, and that's for Yu-Gi-Oh Season 1. This was very interesting to me because growing up, I never really thought of Yu-Gi-Oh in seasons. I just watched it as it was airing, and it's just a combined thing for me. So learning that the God cards and everything was in Season 2, the theme music for the gods, Slifer the Sky Dragon, Ra, and Obelisk Tormentor, I mean, their theme music is just awesome. Each of them has their own theme. This is the jacket art I came up with. I kind of had to block Yugi there where the logo is and whatnot. Each of the God cards right on the jacket. I think that's dope. I thought it would be neat to not only have some records that are themed after the God cards, but they would come with a replica of the way the God cards looked in the anime as well. So here, Obelisk the Tormentor variant, which is this marble blue color that's very reminiscent of Obelisk the Tormentor's color scheme, and the art I put together for the label. All 3 god cards. I absolutely love this and I need it in my life. Next one we have Slyther the Sky Dragon. It's this red with the blue splatter on there. Absolutely love this. And then of course the replica card there as well. And then the last one here, the Winged Dragon of Ra, which was my favorite of the 3 god cards. Let me know which god card is your favorite. But yeah, Winged Dragon of Ra, again, just, I mean, if you look at the 3 of them all together, it's like, oh, I need this to be a real thing so freaking bad. But that wraps up this mock-up mayhem. Let me know what were just some of your favorite mock-ups. Let me know if there's any other anime soundtracks you'd like to see get pressed on vinyl. Maybe I'll start cooking up another one of these mock-up mayhem videos. For the moment, keep on listening to the music that make these animes so great. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.